Okay guys, like I told you in the last video, I'd come ride this with the setup like I just showed you, with a little bit easier gear. Remember, bigger in the back, the 23 tooth makes it easier. Bigger is easier in the back, bigger is harder in the front. And I got a 32 in front. I've kind of kept it that way since I bought this crank set. My other crank set, I could change rings. They were kind of universal type center lock rings, but this Hope one is proprietary. Anyway, I'm gonna climb up, and I could already feel the difference. It feels a little easier on this pavement here. Combination of the easier tires and the lower gear with that 23 teeth cog, and you'll see why I don't go for over gearing my single speeds when I ride here with some of the technical stuff I deal with in this first section, where it's just a short water cross and then that rapid climb out. So you see what I mean? As soon as you cross, you're into this loose over rock stuff. And I wish I could tell you what the percentage of gain is here, but I'm not sure if my Polar software shows that or if Strava shows that. Those are the two main ones I use. So I'll take you into this a little bit and then I'll turn it off. But it already feels a little bit easier. I need to put a little more air in my tires. I set them up tubeless. But when I set them up like this, sometimes it takes a little while for this to set in, if you will, and seal up all the bead, so it leaks out a little bit. The air leaks out. The sealant is fine. But I can review some of the sealants I've used and why I like them, and the ones that I don't like, maybe depending on where you ride and what you're dealing with, you may choose one or the other. I have a tendency to switch out tires a lot. If you noticed, that's how I accumulated all those wheel sets, because I ended up, instead of just switching tires out, I said, well, wouldn't it be nice just to swap out the whole wheel and have everything on there. And with a single speed, it's actually really easy to do because you're not having to take your cassette off. You could buy extra brake rotors so you're not having to take that off. And then as you hear that, that's slippage, and that's what happens when you have a more low profile tread design. As the other Hans Domp are big chunky knobs, they just won't slip on you as easy. So traction means harder to pedal, but it also means traction, and means you will not slip when you're mandated to be out of the saddle like you are on a single speed, or when you're going downhill and you're having to brake real fast. That traction is going to stop you a lot better. I do think there is a huge benefit in the wider rims, higher profile tires, especially when you try to compare apples to apples, and a wide rim, high volume tire, same tire, but on a I-35 rim compared to an I-27 or something, or lower. And let's use a 2.3 like I have on right now. I have an I-29 rim, and it spreads out that tread really nicely. Still has an overall roundness, if you will, or not quite a sunset horizon roundness, I guess, but it also doesn't have that light bulb look that you would get if you used the same tire on like a Stan's Arch MK3, which is 26 internal millimeter and doesn't have the width of a larger. Oh my gosh, I'm feeling this. Anyway, talking to you guys on the Ascent is a whole different ball of wax than when you look at all my other videos where I'm having this conversation, talking to you on my Descent. It's really different than talking here. So I'm hoping it's not too annoying. I can imagine it is. So I'm going to stop the video now. Got to show you that. I'll get my climb in, And maybe later on, as I accumulate some of these, I'll start doing some data on Strava and showing you comparative analysis of the same bike on the same climb with different gear ratios on my single speed, different tire combinations on my single speed, and the overall thoughts of how that felt. And what is a big thing too is not just the feel, but the durability. Because when you get to some of these lighter tires or more supple feeling, thinner sidewall tires, you lose the durability. So it gives you a suppleness feel, but it's also at the expense of durability. All of my tires I will review will be based on just a tubeless setup, not using Cush core or some of the other inserts, just because one, they're expensive and I don't see the reason to buy them for what I do. I've thought about putting them in my geared bike, just because if I do go on some backcountry stuff